Captain Ji-won Kim stood in the center of the Great Council chamber. The room was huge, bigger than any building she had ever seen on Earth. 12 different alien species sat in curved rows around her. Their eyes watched her every move. Some looked angry. Others seemed afraid. A few appeared curious. The chamber walls were made of smooth white stone that seemed to glow with its own light. High above, a dome showed the stars of the galaxy spinning slowly. Ji-won had been here many times before, but today felt different. Today would decide the fate of all humans. Elder Quindala floated in the center chair. She was an ethereal, a being made of pure energy, wrapped in a shimmering form. Her voice echoed in everyone's mind when she spoke. "We are here to decide what to do about the humans," she said. "They have been part of our council for 50 years, but many of us believe they are too dangerous to stay." Ji-won looked at the faces around her. Dr. Minho Park sat in the human section. He was Earth's best scientist when it came to alien life. His face was calm, but she could see worry in his eyes. Commander Yuna Lee stood near the door with her security team. Yuna's hand rested on her weapon, ready for trouble. Counselor Vextar stood up from his seat. He was a Saurian, tall and covered in green scales. His yellow eyes fixed on Ji-won with hate. "The humans are a disease," he said. His voice was loud and harsh. "They bring war wherever they go. They fight first and ask questions later. They are not like us peaceful species." Murmurs of agreement came from several other council members. Ji-won felt her anger rising, but she kept her face calm. She had learned long ago that showing emotion here was seen as weakness. "That is not true," Ji-won said. Her voice carried clearly through the chamber. "Humans have never started a war with any council species. We only fight when others attack. Us first." "Lies," Vextar hissed. "Your people destroyed the Klaxon fleet at Rigel." "After they attacked our colony," Ji-won replied firmly. "After they killed 3,000 human civilians, we warned them to stop. They chose to keep fighting." "You used nuclear weapons," said another council member. This one was a Delphinian, blue-skinned with large black eyes. "Such weapons are forbidden by council law." "Not when defending our families," Ji-won said. "The Klaxons were using planet-killer weapons. Would you have us stand by and let them murder everyone on New Sol?" Dr. Park stood up. "May I speak?" he asked politely. Elder Quindala nodded. "Honored council members," Dr. Park began. "Humans are not warlike by nature. We are protective. There is a difference. Every species here has seen peace for thousands of years. You evolved on safe worlds with gentle neighbors. Humans came from a harder place. We learned to defend ourselves because we had to." "Exactly our point," Vextar said. "You are primitive, violent. You do not belong among civilized species." Ji-won stepped forward. "We have saved council lives," she said. "When the Brutarians attacked the Vithrak colonies, who stopped them? When pirates raided the trade routes near Centauri, who cleared them out? When the plague hit the Aquarian worlds, who brought the cure?" "You did those things because you like to fight," Vextar replied. "It proves our point." "We did those things because they were right," Ji-won said, her voice rising slightly. "Because no one else would. Because sometimes, Counselor, the universe requires people willing to stand up to bullies." Elder Quindala raised her hand for silence. "The question before us is simple," she said. "Do humans belong in the council? Are they compatible with our peaceful society?" A new voice spoke up. It came from the crystalline section. The being looked like a walking jewel, all sharp angles and bright light. "I have studied human history," the Vithrak representative said. "They fought wars on their home world for thousands of years. They nearly destroyed themselves multiple times. How can we trust such a species?" Ji-won felt her heart sink. This was going badly. She could see it in the faces around her. Fear was winning over facts. "Yes, we fought wars," she admitted. We made mistakes, but we learned from them. We grew. We became better. Is that not what civilization is about? Learning to be better than you were? The risk is too great, said an Orcish council member. Humans breed too fast, expand too quickly, fight too eagerly. In 100 years, they will outnumber us all. Dr. Park tried again. Honored ones, please consider what you are doing. Humans provide security for this entire region of space. Our ships patrol the borders. Our soldiers guard the trade routes. Without us, who will protect the peaceful species from those who are not so peaceful? We will manage, Vextar said coldly. The galaxy was at peace before humans arrived. It will be at peace after they leave. Commander Yuna Lee whispered something in Jiwan's ear. Jiwan nodded grimly. The vote count was not good. Too many council members were afraid. I ask for the right of final statement, Jiwan said formally. Elder Quindala considered this. Granted, she said finally. Jiwan walked to the center of the chamber. She looked at each council member in turn. You are afraid of us, she said simply. I understand that. Humans are different from you. We come from a world that taught us hard lessons. But fear is a poor reason to make important decisions. She paused, letting her words sink in. You think removing humans will make you safer. I believe it will make you weaker. The galaxy is not as peaceful as you pretend. There are threats out there. Species that do not share your values. Forces that see your kindness as weakness. Humans have been your shield for 50 years. We have kept the monsters away while you lived in comfort. You want to throw that away because you are uncomfortable with how we do it. Her voice grew stronger. But we will respect your decision. If you vote to exile us, we will go. We will not fight you. We will not make threats. We will simply leave. However, she continued, do not expect us to come back. Do not expect us to save you when the monsters return. You will have made your choice. Live with it. The chamber fell silent. Elder Quindala looked around at the other council members. We will vote now, she announced. The voting took only a few minutes. Ancient symbols appeared in the air above each section. Green for keeping humans in the council. Red for exile. One by one, the symbols appeared. The dolphins voted green. They had always been human allies. The ethereals voted green as well, though Elder Quindala looked troubled. The Vithrax voted green, surprising everyone, but the others voted red. The Saurians, the Orcs, the Crystallines, the Aquarians, the Gas Giants, the Hive Minds, the Plant Collectives, the Machine Intelligences, and the Energy Beings. 9 red symbols to 3 green ones. The vote is decided, Elder Quindala announced. Her mental voice sounded sad. Humans are hereby expelled from the Galactic Council. You have 6 months to remove all human presence from council space. Any human found in our territory after that time will be considered an act of war. Jiwan nodded calmly. She had expected this. Understood, she said. We will comply with your decision. She turned to leave, then stopped. One last thing, she said without looking back. You are making a mistake you will regret. But we will respect your decision. Goodbye, Council. Dr. Park and Commander Lee followed her out of the chamber. Behind them, the council members sat in uncomfortable silence. Several looked like they already had doubts. Elder Quindala watched the humans leave. Something deep in her ancient mind whispered that this was wrong, that they had just made a terrible error. But the vote was done. The die was cast. In 6 months, humanity would be gone from council space. What happened after that would be their own responsibility. She only hoped they would not come to regret this decision, but deep down, she already knew they would. Admiral Taehyun Choi stared at the holographic display showing human colonies across the galaxy. Red dots marked each world, station, and outpost that needed evacuation. There were hundreds of them. 200 million humans lived in council space. They all had to leave in 6 months. Status report, he said to his staff. Captain So-Young Nam stepped forward. She was his chief science officer and the smartest person he knew. We have identified 437 installations to evacuate, she said. This includes colonies, mining stations, research outposts, and military bases. How many ships do we need? Admiral Choi asked. All of them, Captain Nam replied. Every human vessel in the galaxy. And we will still need to make multiple trips. General Dong Hyun Ko, the head of Human Marines, looked grim. The bigger problem is what we do with everyone. Sol system cannot hold 200 million people. Admiral Choi nodded. This was the question keeping him awake at night. Earth was already crowded. The other planets in Sol system were not fully developed. Where could they put so many people? We have been working on that problem, said a new voice. Hana Seo entered the room. She was in charge of civilian evacuation. Not everyone wants to go to Earth. Admiral Choi raised an eyebrow. Explain. Hana activated her own display. It showed star charts beyond the galaxy's edge. Long-range surveys have found habitable worlds outside Council space. Many colonists want to try again somewhere new, somewhere far from aliens who fear us. How far? General Ko asked. Beyond the galactic rim, Hana said. Places no one has ever explored. We could build something completely new out there. Admiral Choi considered this. It was dangerous. The unknown regions held many threats, but it also held opportunities. How many are interested? About half, Hana replied. Maybe more. The vote to exile us has made many humans angry. They do not want to live under alien rules anymore. Good, Admiral Choi said. That solves our space problem. Now we need to solve the logistics problem. The next few weeks were chaos. Human ships moved constantly between worlds. Families packed their lives into cargo containers. Entire cities were dismantled and loaded onto transports. But this was not a panicked retreat. Admiral Choi insisted on order. Every evacuation was planned carefully. Every ship had a specific route and schedule. Nothing was left to chance. Dr. Kyu-hyun Lim worked with the science teams. They were not just abandoning their research. They were taking everything with them. Every sample, every data file, every piece of equipment. If we are leaving, he told his staff, we take all our knowledge with us. The aliens watched nervously. Some council species had not expected such a thorough withdrawal. They thought humans would leave behind useful things. Technology they could study. Research they could continue. Instead, humans took everything. Mining equipment was dismantled and shipped out. Orbital stations were broken down into component parts. Even terraforming projects were reversed. Planets that humans had been making more livable were left in their original state. They are being very thorough, observed Counselor Rethal. The Delphinian was watching human evacuation from the Centauri colonies. Perhaps too thorough. His aide nodded. Intelligence reports suggest they are also wiping their computer databases. No trace of human research will remain. Counselor Rethal felt uneasy. He had voted to keep humans in the council. Now he watched them strip away 50 years of development. The Centauri system would be much less valuable without human infrastructure. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. The Aquarians discovered that humans had been providing most of their medical research. The Vithrax learned that human security forces had been stopping criminals they never knew existed. The gas giants found that human trading posts had been the economic heart of several systems. 3 months into the evacuation, something unexpected happened. A delegation of Orcish representatives approached Admiral Choi privately. "We want to make a deal," said War Chief Brocktal. He was smaller than most orcs, but his eyes were sharp and intelligent. Admiral Choi met them on neutral ground, a trading station in the border region. "What kind of deal?" "Official, you are being exiled," Brocktal said. "Unofficial, we still need protection. The Brutarian Empire has been making threats. Without human forces to deter them, they may attack our outer colonies." "That sounds like a council problem," Admiral Choi replied coldly. "The council forces are not strong enough," Brocktal admitted. "They have been peaceful too long. Your Marines could stop a Brutarian invasion easily." General Ko leaned forward. "You voted to exile us." "I voted with the majority," Brocktal said. "But I always respected human warriors. Make a secret agreement with us. Keep some forces in Orcish space. We will pay well. Admiral Choi considered this. Several other species had made similar approaches. The fear that drove them to vote for exile was now making them realize what they were losing. No, he said finally. The council wanted us gone. We are going. All of us. Bruchtal looked surprised. But the money is not worth the insult, General Ko said firmly. You made your choice. Live with it. The Orcish delegation left disappointed. Word spread that humans were refusing all under-the-table deals. This worried many council members even more. 4 months into the evacuation, long-range sensors detected something interesting. Human ships were not just going to Sol system. Large fleets were heading in completely different directions. Some went toward the galactic center. Others headed for the outer rim. A few disappeared entirely from sensor range. Where are they going? Elder Quindala asked her intelligence chief. Unknown, came the reply. Human ships have activated some kind of stealth technology. We lose track of them after they leave council space. This was news to the elder. She had not known humans possess such advanced stealth capabilities. What else had they hidden? Meanwhile, the human evacuation continued with military precision. Navigator Yunbi Han led one of the deep space exploration fleets. Her mission was to scout worlds beyond the galactic rim. There is so much out here, she reported back to Admiral Choi. Worlds the Council never found. Resources they never imagined. Ancient ruins from species that died out long ago. Any threats? Admiral Choi asked. Some, Yunbi replied, but nothing we cannot handle. The isolation might actually be good for us. No aliens to tell us what we can and cannot do. 5 months into the evacuation, tensions began rising in council space. Without human patrols, piracy increased. Several trade convoys were attacked. Brutarian scouts were spotted near Vithrak colonies. Councillor Vextar dismissed these concerns. Minor problems, he insisted. The galaxy was peaceful before humans arrived. It will be peaceful, again. But other council members were less sure. The Dolphins had lost 3 cargo ships to pirates in the last month. The crystallines reported strange energy readings from the direction of Brutarian space. Even the peaceful ethereals seemed nervous. As the 6th month approached, Admiral Choi gathered his senior staff for a final meeting. The evacuation was nearly complete. Only a few small outposts remained. Status report, he said. Captain Nam checked her notes. 97% complete. All major colonies evacuated. All military bases abandoned. All research facilities closed. Where did everyone go? Admiral Choi asked. 30% to Sol system, Captain Nam replied. 70% to new colonies beyond council space. The exploration fleets have found 12 habitable worlds so far. More are being surveyed. General Ko smiled grimly. The council wanted to limit human expansion. Instead, they have driven us into regions with unlimited expansion potential. Hana. Essio nodded. Many families are excited about the new worlds. They see this as an opportunity, not a punishment. Admiral Choi looked at the star chart one last time. In a few days, the deadline would arrive. The last human ship would leave council space. An era would end. Any regrets? He asked his staff. None, General Ko said firmly. We tried to work with them. They chose fear over friendship. Captain Nam was more thoughtful. I regret the loss of scientific cooperation, but we can do our research without them. Hana Seo shrugged. Good riddance. We will build something better without alien interference. Admiral Choi felt the same way. The Council had rejected humanity. Now humanity would find its own path among the stars. The last day arrived quickly. Admiral Choi was aboard the final human ship to leave Council space. It was the same vessel that had brought Captain Jiwon Kim from the Council session 6 months ago. Kim, now promoted to Admiral herself, stood on the bridge beside him. Ready to go home? She asked. Home is where we make it, Admiral Choi replied. and we are about to make it somewhere much better. The ship crossed the boundary into Sol space exactly at the deadline. As they did, Admiral Kim activated the communication system. Her message went out to every council world. "This is Admiral Jiwon Kim of the Human Colonial Fleet," she said. "The evacuation is complete. All humans have withdrawn from council space, as ordered. The council wanted us gone. We are gone. Do not look for us. Do not expect us to return. You have chosen your path. We have chosen ours." The transmission ended. The last human ship disappeared into the vastness of space. Behind them, council space suddenly felt very empty and very vulnerable. 2 years had passed since the humans left. Councillor Rethal swam through the crystal-clear waters of his office aquarium, but his mind was troubled. The report on his desk made for grim reading. "Pirate attacks up 300%, he said to his aide, a young Delphinian named Keloth. "Trade route security failures across 12 sectors. And now this news about the Brutarians." Keloth checked his tablet. "War Chief Gromtok has declared himself emperor. He is demanding tribute from all border worlds. 3 species have already submitted rather than fight." Rethal felt his gill slits flutter with anxiety. This was exactly what he had feared would happen. "What does the council say?" "Councillor Vextar insists it is temporary," Keloth replied. "He claims the Brutarians are simply testing boundaries. They will settle down once they realize the council will not tolerate aggression." "Fools," Rethal muttered. "They still do not understand. The Brutarians only respected strength. Human strength. Without that threat, they feel free to expand." Far across the galaxy, War Chief Gromtok was indeed feeling very free. He stood in his new throne room looking at a holographic map of council space. Red markers showed his growing territory. Green markers showed his next targets. "How many worlds have we taken?" he asked his general. 47, my emperor," the general replied. "The resistance has been minimal. Most species surrender after we destroy 1 or 2 of their ships." Gromtok laughed. It was a harsh, grating sound. "Pathetic. These council species are softer than I remembered. Without the humans to hide behind, they are helpless." "What are your orders, Emperor?" the general asked. "Continue the expansion, but be careful around the core worlds. They may still have some fight in them." Gromtok paused. "Any word on the humans?" "Nothing, Emperor. They have vanished completely. Long-range sensors detect no human activity anywhere in known space." "Good," Gromtok said. "They were the only real threat to our expansion. With them gone, nothing can stop us." But the humans had not vanished. They had simply gone farther than anyone imagined possible. Deep in the void beyond the galactic rim, navigator Yunbi Han stood on the bridge of her exploration ship. Around her, the crew worked with quiet efficiency. They had been out here for over a year, mapping new star systems and cataloging discoveries. "Report," she said to her science officer. "Incredible findings, Captain," Dr. Kyu-hyun Lim replied. He had joined the deep space mission to continue his research away from council restrictions. "This system contains ruins from at least 3 different extinct civilizations. The technology level is far beyond anything the council species ever achieved." Yunbi looked at the display showing ancient structures on the planet below. Massive cities built from materials that still gleamed after millions of years. Orbital installations that defied known physics. "Any idea who built them?" "The records we have recovered mention something called the architects," Dr. Lim said. "They seem to have been the dominant species in this galaxy over 1,000,000 years ago, far more advanced than anyone today." "What happened to them?" "Unknown. They simply vanished one day, but they left behind incredible technology. If we can understand it." Dr. Lim's voice trailed off with excitement. Yunbi nodded. This was why the exile had been a blessing in disguise. Council laws would have restricted this research. Ethics committees would have debated for years about studying extinct civilizations. Out here, humans could explore freely. "Any signs of current inhabitants?" she asked. "None in this system. but we have detected energy signatures from deeper in the void. There may be others out here, species that never made contact with the Council. Hostile? Unknown. The signatures are too far away to analyze properly, but some of them are very powerful, much stronger than anything in Council space. Yunbi felt a thrill of anticipation. Humanity was discovering a universe far larger and more complex than the Council had ever imagined, and they were free to explore all of it. Meanwhile, back in Council space, the situation continued to worsen. Elder Quindala floated in her private chamber reviewing intelligence reports. The news was all bad. The crystalline colonies in the Vega sector had been overrun by Brutarian forces. The geometric beings had put up fierce resistance, but their defensive technologies were no match for Brutarian aggression. Thousands had been enslaved. The Aquarian trading posts in the Perseus Arm were under constant pirate attack. Without human patrols, the criminals had grown bold. Entire convoys disappeared without trace. Most worrying of all were the reports from the Rim worlds. Several species that had relied on human protection were being systematically conquered by their more aggressive neighbors. The peaceful herbivores of Kepler 442 had been enslaved by the carnivorous predators of Wolf 359. The gentle gas dwellers of Jupiter Prime were being harvested for their rare compounds by the industrial collective. This is not sustainable, Elder Quindala told her council of advisors. We are losing control of half the galaxy. The other half remains peaceful, insisted Councillor Vextar. He had grown more defensive as the situation worsened. The core worlds are secure. Trade continues. Civilization endures. For how long? Asked Councillor Zelathine. The crystalline representative had barely escaped the fall of Vega. Her geometric form flickered with distress patterns. The Brutarians grow stronger with every conquest. Soon they will threaten the core worlds directly. Then we will defend them with Council forces, Vextar replied. What Council forces? Zelathine's voice resonated with harmonics of disbelief. We have 12 patrol ships for the entire galaxy. The humans had thousands. Elder Quindala knew. Zelathine was right. The Council had always relied on member species to provide their own defense. Only humans had maintained a true military force. Now that force was gone. What about hiring mercenaries, suggested another advisor. With what money? Rethal interjected. The pirates have disrupted trade so badly that tax revenues are down 60%. We can barely afford to keep the council chambers running. The meeting continued for hours, but no solutions emerged. The council had been designed for a peaceful galaxy. It was not equipped to deal with widespread warfare. 3 months later, the crisis deepened. A message arrived that made everyone's blood run cold. It came from Emperor Gromtok himself. People of the council, his harsh voice echoed through the chamber. I offer you a choice. Submit to the Brutarian Empire, and your worlds will be spared. Resist, and you will share the fate of the crystallines. He cannot be serious, Councillor Vextar said, but his voice shook with uncertainty. He controls nearly half our territory, Rethal pointed out. His forces outnumber ours 50-1. I think he is very serious. Elder Quindala felt the weight of decision pressing down on her. She was the council speaker. The choice would ultimately be hers. We need help, she said finally. From where? Vextar demanded. Every military power in the galaxy has either joined Gromtok or been destroyed by him. From the humans, Quindala said quietly. The chamber fell silent. The suggestion was shocking. 2 years ago, they had exiled humanity. Now their speaker wanted to beg for help. Impossible, Vextar hissed. We voted them out. They are gone. Then we find them, Quindala said firmly. We send envoys to search for them. We offer whatever terms they demand. And if they refuse? Zelathine asked. Quindala's energy form dimmed with resignation. Then the council falls, and the galaxy enters a new dark age. The authorization passed by a narrow vote. Secret envoys were dispatched to search for humanity. They had strict orders. Find the humans at any cost and bring them back. But finding humanity proved harder than expected. The humans had scattered across the universe. Some had gone to distant galaxies. Others had disappeared into pocket dimensions. A few had apparently traveled through time itself. The search teams found traces, abandoned campsites on distant worlds, energy signatures from unknown technology, fragments of human language in the data streams of ancient computers, but no humans. They had vanished as completely as smoke in the wind. Meanwhile, navigator Yunbi Han was making discoveries that would have shocked the council envoys. Her exploration fleet had made contact with a surviving outpost of the architects. The ancient beings were not extinct after all. They had simply withdrawn from normal space to avoid some terrible catastrophe. "Your species interests us," the architect entity told her. It appeared as a shimmering geometric pattern that hurt to look at directly. "You show potential we have not seen in millions of years." "What kind of potential?" Yunbi asked. "The potential to become something greater than you are. The other species in this galaxy are evolutionary dead ends. They have achieved peace by abandoning growth. But your species still seeks to improve itself." The entity paused, its patterns shifting. "We offer you knowledge, technologies your kind can use to transcend your current limitations, but there is a price." "What price?" "You must promise to use this knowledge responsibly. The last species we helped destroyed themselves with weapons beyond imagination. We will not make that mistake again." Yunbi considered this carefully. The offer was tempting beyond words, but she was not authorized to make such decisions alone. "I need to consult with my people," she said. "Of course, but do not take too long. We sense disturbances in normal space. Your former associates may soon need assistance." 5 years had passed since the humans left council space. Emperor Gromtok stood in his war room looking at a galaxy that was almost entirely his. Red symbols covered the star map, showing worlds under Brutarian control. Only a small cluster of green symbols remained around the council's core worlds. "Status report," he growled to his generals. 80% of the galaxy is under our control," General Thrakos replied. "The remaining council forces are trapped in a defensive sphere around their home worlds. They cannot hold out much longer." Gromtok smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "How long?" 6 months at most. Their supply lines are cut. Their fleets are outnumbered 20-1. Some species are already discussing surrender." "Good." Gromtok traced one massive claw across the map. "What about the human territories? Any sign of their return?" "None, Emperor. The Sol system remains empty except for automated defenses. All other human worlds show no activity. It appears they have truly abandoned this galaxy." Gromtok nodded with satisfaction. The humans had been the only real threat to his ambitions. With them gone, conquest had been almost easy. The council species were sheep without their wolf protectors. Meanwhile, in the depths of space far beyond the galactic rim, humanity was becoming something unprecedented. Dr. Jisoo An stood in a laboratory that would have seemed impossible 5 years ago. The walls were made of crystallized space-time. The equipment used technologies that bent reality itself. "The integration is complete," she told Admiral Hyunwoo Shin. He had been promoted to command humanity's new deep space fleet. "The architect, knowledge has been successfully combined with human science." Admiral Shin looked at the test results with amazement. "These capabilities are beyond anything we ever imagined." "The architects were generous teachers," Dr. An explained. "They shared technologies that took them millions of years to develop. Faster-than-light communication across unlimited distances, matter-energy conversion on a massive scale, even limited, manipulation of time itself." "Any side effects?" Admiral Shin asked. "Some," Dr. An admitted. "The integration process has changed us, enhanced us. Human DNA has been modified by exposure to architect technology. We are still human, but we are becoming something more." Admiral Shin felt the changes in himself. His reflexes were faster. His thinking was clearer. His body was stronger. All humans who had undergone the integration process experienced similar improvements. "What about reproduction?" he asked. "The changes are hereditary. Dr. An confirmed. Children born after integration show even greater enhancements. In a few generations, baseline humanity may be extinct, replaced by something better adapted to deep space exploration. This news would have troubled humans 5 years ago. Now it seemed like natural evolution. Humanity was growing beyond its original limitations. Any word from the home galaxy? Admiral Shin asked. Dr. An checked her communications console. Long-range sensors show massive warfare in Council space. Something called the Brutarian Empire has conquered most of the galaxy. The Council species are losing badly. Should we care? Admiral Shin asked. Dr. An considered this. Perhaps. The Brutarians may threaten other galaxies eventually. It might be wise to stop them before they become too powerful. Admiral Shin nodded. Any sign that the Council wants our help? Yes. We have detected several search parties looking for human settlements. The Council is trying to find us. Let them find us, Admiral Shin decided. It is time they learned what we have become. Back in Council space, the search for humanity had become desperate. Elder Quindala had authorized the expenditure of enormous resources to locate the exiled species. Finally, one of the search teams got lucky. Captain Wu Bin-yu was commanding a scout ship deep in unexplored space when his sensors detected human energy signatures. The readings were unlike anything in the databases. More advanced, more powerful, but definitely human in origin. Follow that signal, he ordered his crew. Do not lose it. The trail led them to a system that officially did not exist on any star charts. As they approached, their sensors were flooded with impossible readings. Massive structures that bent space around themselves. Ships that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Energy outputs that dwarfed entire star systems. What is this place? His navigator whispered. Before Captain Yu could answer, his ship was surrounded by vessels that had appeared from nowhere. They were clearly human in design, but enhanced with technologies he could not understand. A communication signal reached his ship. The voice that spoke was human, but somehow different. More confident. More powerful. Unknown vessel. You are in human space without permission. State your purpose. Captain Yu felt his heart racing. They had found the humans. But these were not the humans who had left 5 years ago. I am Captain Wu Bin-yu of the Council Search Fleet, he replied. We seek an audience with human leaders. There was a long pause. Then, follow us. Do not deviate from our course. Any aggressive action will result in your immediate destruction. The human ships guided them to a space station that defied comprehension. It was larger than most moons, built from materials that seemed to glow with their own inner light. Structures twisted through dimensions that hurt to look at. Captain Yu and a small diplomatic team were allowed to dock. They were met by humans, who looked familiar yet different. Taller, more graceful. Eyes that held depths of knowledge no baseline human had ever possessed. I am Admiral Hyunwoo Shin, their leader said. Welcome to Haven Station. We understand the Council seeks our assistance. Captain Yu struggled to find words. The Brutarian Empire has conquered most of the galaxy. Council forces cannot stop them. Elder Quindala requests human aid. Admiral Shin's expression did not change. The same council that exiled us 5 years ago? Yes, Captain Yu admitted. We made a mistake. You made a choice, Admiral Shin corrected. You chose fear over friendship. Why should we help? You now? Captain Yu had prepared for this question. Because billions of innocent beings will die if we fail. Because the galaxy needs protectors. Because despite our mistakes, the Council represents civilization against chaos. Admiral Shin studied the alien diplomat for a long moment. Show him, he said to an aide. The aide activated a holographic display. It showed the current state of the galaxy in perfect detail. Every Brutarian fleet, every conquered world, every desperate Council defense. We know exactly what is happening, Admiral Shin said. We have been watching. The question is whether we care enough to intervene. Do you? Captain Yu asked desperately. Admiral Shin was quiet for several minutes. Finally, he spoke. "We will help, but there will be conditions." "Name them," Captain Yu said immediately. "First, humanity rejoins the Council with full membership and veto power over all major decisions. Second, the species who voted for our exile provide formal apologies and reparations. Third, all future Council military operations come under human command." Captain Yu felt a mixture of relief and concern. The terms were harsh, but the alternative was extinction. "I will convey your terms to Elder Quindala," he said. "Do so quickly," Admiral Shin replied. "The Brutarians are preparing their final assault on the core worlds. You have perhaps a month before total defeat." As Captain Yu prepared to leave, he could not help asking, "What happened to you out here? How did you become this?" "Admiral," Shin smiled, but it was not entirely a human expression anymore. "We found teachers, beings who showed us our potential. The exile was the best thing that ever happened to humanity. It freed us to become what we were always meant to be." The message reached Elder Quindala within days. The Council emergency. Session was called immediately. The debate was fierce but brief. With Brutarian fleets approaching the core worlds, they had no choice but to accept human terms. The formal acceptance was transmitted back to human space. The response came faster than should have been possible, as if the humans had technologies that made interstellar communication instantaneous. Terms accepted. Human fleet departing for Council space immediately. Estimated arrival, 72 hours. Elder Quindala felt a mixture of relief and apprehension. The humans were coming back, but they were returning as conquerors, not allies. 3 days later, long-range sensors detected the human fleet approaching Council space. What they saw defied all understanding. The human ships moved faster than light without entering hyperspace. They phased in and out of normal reality. Some appeared to exist in multiple locations simultaneously. Emperor Gromtok received the reports with disbelief. "How many ships?" "Unknown, Emperor," his sensor operator replied. "The readings make no sense. Sometimes we detect a dozen vessels. Sometimes we detect thousands. The signals keep changing." "Are you certain they are human?" "The energy signatures match old human patterns, but they are far more advanced. Whatever these ships are, they represent technology beyond anything in our databases." Gromtok felt his first moment of doubt. Could the humans have changed so much in 5 years? His answer came when the human fleet reached the edge of Council space. Admiral Shin transmitted a message that reached every world simultaneously. "This is Admiral Hyunwoo Shin of the Human Defense Fleet. All Brutarian forces have 24 hours to withdraw from conquered territories. Any who refuse will be removed by force." Emperor Gromtok laughed when he heard the ultimatum. 10 years had passed since the humans returned to Council space. President Minji-Oh stood on the observation deck of New Geneva Station, looking down at the restored galaxy below. The space station orbited the Council's capital world, but everyone knew who really ruled here now. "Status report," she said to her aide. "All sectors are secure, Madam President," Commander Jun-Ho Kim replied. He was the grandson of the famous Admiral Ji-won Kim, and he carried himself with the same quiet confidence. "Piracy is down to 0. Trade routes are completely safe. No conflicts anywhere in the galaxy." President Oh nodded with satisfaction. The human fleet maintained perfect order throughout Council space. Their advanced ships could be anywhere in minutes. Crime had become almost extinct. "What about the integration programs?" she asked, proceeding smoothly. "Human technology is being shared with all Council species, but under strict supervision. The medical advances alone have doubled average lifespans across the galaxy." President Oh smiled. This was the galaxy's golden age. Technology flowed freely. Disease was being eliminated. Even death itself could be postponed indefinitely with human medical science. But it all came at a price that the Council species were only beginning to understand. In the Council chamber below, Dr. Changmin Bayek was addressing the assembled representatives. He was Earth's official representative to the Council, though his real role was more like a governor managing colonial subjects. The terraforming project on Kepler 438b is complete, he announced. The world is now suitable for Aquarian colonization. However, the settlement will be managed by human administrators to ensure proper development. The Aquarian representative, a blue-skinned being named Kelleth, raised his hand nervously. With respect, Dr. Beck, our species has been colonizing worlds for thousands of years. We do not need human supervision. Dr. Beck's expression remained polite but firm. With respect, Counselor Kelleth, your species has never terraformed a world in 18 months. Human technology makes rapid development possible, but only under proper guidance. The exchange was typical of how the new council worked. The alien species were treated with courtesy and respect, but ultimate authority always rested with humanity. No major decisions were made without human approval. Counselor Vextar, now old and bitter, watched the proceedings with growing resentment. The Saurian had once been the council's most powerful voice. Now he was little more than a ceremonial figure. After the session ended, Vexatar approached Dr. Beck privately. "This is not what we agreed to," he hissed. "We accepted human membership, not human domination." Dr. Beck studied the old Saurian calmly. "You accepted the terms we offered, full human membership with veto power over major decisions. We are simply exercising that power responsibly." "You veto everything," Vextar complained. "The Council has become a rubber stamp for human policy." "The Council has become efficient," Dr. Beck corrected. "Decisions are made quickly. Resources are allocated wisely. The galaxy prospers under human guidance." "Under human control," Vextar muttered. Dr. Beck's expression hardened slightly. "Counselor, your species voted to exile us because you feared human influence. Now you complain because that influence has grown. You cannot have it both ways." The conversation ended there, but Vextar's frustration was shared by many council members. They had asked for human protection and received human rule instead. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the reality of human dominance was becoming clear to everyone. Human ships patrolled every system. Human technology improved every world. But human permission was required for everything. The crystalline colonies wanted to expand their mining operations, but they needed human approval for the environmental impact studies. The gas giants wished to establish new trading posts, but the routes required human security clearance. Even scientific research had to be reviewed by human committees. Fleet Admiral Jiwon Kim, now the supreme military commander of the galaxy, understood the aliens' frustrations. She stood in her command center on the massive ship Indomitable, watching fleet movements across the galactic display. "They hate us," her intelligence chief observed. "The gratitude for saving them from the Brutarians has turned to resentment," Admiral Kim nodded. "It was inevitable. No one likes being protected by someone stronger than themselves. It reminds them of their weakness." "Should we be concerned about rebellion?" Admiral Kim almost smiled. "With what? The Council species have been peaceful for thousands of years. They have no military tradition, no warrior culture. Even if they united against us, which they never could, they would be helpless against human technology." This was the fundamental reality of the new galactic order. Human science had advanced far beyond anything the Council species could comprehend. The architect knowledge had been combined with human innovation to create technologies that seemed like magic, faster than light travel without ships, matter conversion on planetary scales, genetic modification that could reshape entire species, even time manipulation on limited scales. Humans had become the gods of their galaxy, but being gods came with responsibilities that not all humans were comfortable with. Dr. Sujin Han worked in the Advanced Research Division on Luna Station. Her job was to study the long-term effects of human technological integration with Council species. The results troubled her. "We are changing them," she reported to the High Command. "Not just their technology or their society. We are changing them genetically. The medical treatments we provide alter their DNA. The food we give them affects their brain chemistry. The environment we create for them modifies their evolution." President O reviewed the reports with concern. "Are we harming them? Not harming. Exactly, Dr. Han replied. But we are making them dependent. Their children will be unable to survive without human technology. Their societies will collapse without human guidance. We are creating a galaxy of permanent children who cannot care for themselves. This was the unintended consequence of human benevolence. In saving the council species, humans were destroying their independence. The aliens were becoming pets rather than partners. The realization came to a head during a private conversation between Elder Quindala and Admiral Kim. The ancient ethereal had requested a secret meeting, away from council politics. "What have we become?" Elder Quindala asked. Her energy form flickered with distress. "My people once explored the galaxy freely. Now we ask permission to leave our home system." Admiral Kim felt genuinely sad. "You asked for our protection. We provided it." "We asked for help in a crisis," Quindala replied. "We did not ask to become your subjects." "What would you have us do?" Admiral Kim asked. "Withdraw our protection? Allow chaos to return? Let aggressive species conquer the peaceful ones again?" "I do not know," Quindala admitted. "But this cannot be the answer. A galaxy where one species controls everything is not a healthy galaxy." Admiral Kim was quiet for a long moment. "You are right," she said finally. "But I do not see an alternative. The council species chose peace over strength. They chose safety over freedom. These choices have consequences." "So we are trapped," Quindala said. "We cannot survive without you, but we cannot live with you controlling everything." "Yes," Admiral Kim agreed. "You are trapped, and so are we. We never wanted to rule the galaxy, we wanted to be part of it. But your fear drove us away, and circumstances brought us back as masters rather than equals." The conversation ended without resolution because there was none. The council had made their choice 10 years ago when they exiled humanity. Every subsequent decision had flowed from that original mistake. As the years passed, the galactic situation stabilized into a pattern that pleased no one but seemed impossible to change. Humans provided security, technology, and guidance. Council species provided resources, labor, and compliance. The galaxy was safer than it had ever been. Disease was rare. Poverty was eliminated. War was impossible. But freedom was also gone. Young, humans like Captain Taejun Park, great-grandson of the original Dr. Minho Park, grew up seeing themselves as galactic guardians. They genuinely believed they were helping the other species, even as those species chafed under human control. "We give them everything they need," Captain Park said to his crew during a patrol mission. "Medical care, technological advancement, protection from threats. Why are they not grateful?" His first officer, Lieutenant Hyejin Cho, was more thoughtful. "Would you be grateful if aliens controlled every aspect of your life, even if they meant well?" Captain Park considered this. "But we are not aliens to each other. We are all citizens of the same galaxy." "Are we?" Lieutenant Cho asked. "Or are we rulers and subjects?" The question had no easy answer. Meanwhile, in the deepest archives of the Council Historical Society, an old recording was discovered. It was the final session before the human exile, 10 years ago. The voice of Captain Ji-won Kim, as she was, then, speaking her prophetic words. "You want to throw away our partnership because you are uncomfortable with how we protect you, but we will respect your decision. If you vote to exile us, we will go. We will not fight you. We will not make threats. We will simply leave. However, do not expect us to come back. Do not expect us to save you when the monsters return. You will have made your choice, live with it." But they had come back.